And I see that Gordon has joined us. Hi, Gordon.
Hello.
Great. Looks like your audio is working. And Gordon is here, and he's going to give us a live demo of the Brazos Task Manager or Brazos portal. You saw in some of Reiner's slides an example of where this is being used. And the kind of comments that we've gotten from this customer in the way that Brazos Task Manager has improved the visibility in their process, it's just huge for them. Before having this kind of tool to show them where their process was and kind of the state of the different jobs that they're working through, that was totally invisible for them. And so there's a lot of value that gets added with this BP3 software that we've developed over many years now and continue to add to and learn from and get new features into. So Gordon, with that, I will pass it over to you. And
Great. So David asked me to give a demo of Brazos Task Manager, also known as Brazos Portal. So I want to give you a brief history of what this tool is and why we built it. So as most of you know, we've been building workflow and process solutions here at BP3 for basically our entire existence. And one question we constantly get, regardless of the platform our users are logging in with, is that they would like to customize the way that their users view their tasks or their work list. So, with any BPM type solution or workflow solution, every user who's part of the process needs a place to log in and see what's assigned to them. And so pretty much every tool has something for that. But oftentimes those solutions are either too basic, or they've got many different features, but they're confusing or unintuitive, or for whatever reason, the client we're working with may not find it to be suitable for their own end users. The nice thing about most of these process platforms is they do have APIs, which means that you can access that task list and that work in a programmatic way, and then display it to your own users however you want. But the reality is building a new portal or a new task management solution like this is quite a bit of work on the front end. And it also requires a bit of maintenance as the underlying solution continues to update over time. So at BP3, what we did, since we were getting the same requests so many times, was we actually used those APIs to build our own portal, which can be placed on top of basically any task solution. We currently support 2 different BPM applications right now, but there's no reason we could not expand that in the future. So this is BP3's re-envisioning of how users might want to view their work. So what I'm looking at right now is an example of someone at an insurance company looking at their inbox, or again, it could be called an inbox, a work list, task list, anything like that. And so this is where I can log in to see my work. I've got 44 tasks either assigned to me or assigned to a team that I'm a member of. And as a user, I've actually categorized those into different work boxes to help me understand where everything is and kind of organize my work from a daily basis. So I've decided that my high priority tasks that happen to be insurance claims should be here at the top in this red group. So I've kind of filtered things that way. I've got other insurance claims right here. And down below, I've got tasks from my client onboarding process that I'm involved with. So I've got different types of work in my inbox. And as an end user, I can actually modify the way this is all set up. So I can actually drag and drop my groups around if I want to. And I can also change the way these groups are defined in the first place. So if I just click on the gear button, for example, this group, like I said, is for high priority insurance claims. I've defined that using 2 filters. Process name has to be insurance claim, obviously. Priority of the task has to be high. So pretty straightforward there. The cool thing though is that at this point, I can also customize the columns that show up here in my task list. So I'm showing the name of the task, instance ID, but then I'm showing some specific data that's related to the claims themselves. So I've got claim type, client state of residence. Here I've got claim billing price. And if I expand that, you can actually see one of the new features we've added recently is you can highlight values above a certain number, or if it's a string that matches a certain string or contains a certain string. So in this case, you'll see any claim that's above $500 will be highlighted in red in my task list here. So just take a quick look. You can see those numbers are highlighted there. The other thing is we can now show more than 6 columns down here. That's another slight improvement we made. So you can go well over 6 columns, and we've done some work to make sure that the responsiveness of the screen is ideal. And of course, all of this is still supported on mobile. So this is all responsive and swipe and tap friendly. So if you're opening this on your phone, you can access all the same data that you could normally. A couple other quick things here. If I click the info button, I can see additional business data about my task pretty readily here. The other thing I can do is if we choose to give this access to the end user, they can see a diagram of the process that they're currently inside. So it gives them some context to the work that they're doing and allows them to understand how their work affects other people downstream in the process. Okay, so that's kind of the standard Brazos portal pitch here. You can do some other things like customize these views and share them across different teams. But what I really want to show here while we have your attention is that our team has done a lot of work in the past year or so to add a whole new view option when you're creating these views. So I'm going to click on a different view here at the top. So that was kind of my standard task list there. We have a whole new function here that allows people who are more on the process owner side or the management side to view all of the data for ongoing or in-flight tasks or process instances, you might call them. So the idea here is that instead of being limited to the tasks that are assigned to me or assigned to my team that I'm directly involved with, I can look at this from a higher level. And you might actually think of this as more of a dashboard view, actually. And so typically when we're building these types of dashboards, there's been some development effort required. So you would need someone from BP3 or someone from your team to go into the design view of your process workflow platform, and actually design a screen, set up SQL statements to pull the right data out of your database, and configure everything properly so that you can see the data you want. This new feature here in our portal or task manager is allowing you to do all of that on the fly. So these dashboards or these instance views here can be configured by end users on the fly if you give them that permission. So what we're seeing right now is, in the previous view, one of the types of tasks I was looking at was client onboarding. So if we want to kind of zoom out here and look at this more from a management view, here are all of my client onboarding requests that are currently in flight. So I can view the instance IDs, all the same kind of column data that we were showing in the previous view. But in this case, again, these are all of those instances that are currently active. So if anyone were to call me up on the phone or email me and ask me the status of one of these open requests, I can simply look in here and I can search for a last name, for example, to quickly find the work that I'm looking for. I could also filter things by region, for example. So I can look at just the requests that are from the South and from Mississippi, for example. I could also clear those filters and I can search by or filter by HMO or PPO, in this case for these claims. You can set up all these different types of filters. Again, either your administrator or your end user can set all of this up. And it allows me to get really quick and easy visibility into all the open work I have. If I click on one of these, I can see all the same details that I showed before. So you've got your business data, got your process diagram, so that's pretty familiar. One other feature that we've added here is you can add a link. So in this case, this link can link to any other system you want, or it could link to the instance details page that you've already set up in your workflow platform. That piece of data that the link is created on can be used as a parameter inside your URL to send you to the exact right place there. So just some kind of new bells and whistles we've added. There's a variation on this instance view that I want to show now. So this is similar, but we call this the hierarchy view. And so in this case, we're thinking of things more from a top-down hierarchy click-through perspective. So looking at the same data here, but in this case, everything's broken down by region at the top here. So I can click on, let's go with Midwest here. And then within that, I can click on one of the states that's in the Midwest. So I'll click on Iowa. And if I look at those tasks, I'm now back to the same view we had before, but we've kind of been able to drill down from the top level. And again, I can click on these to view that same data that we looked at earlier. Finally, if I go back to the highest level here, we also have a milestone view here, which allows us to see where the work that is currently in flight currently sits within the context of the process. So you can see in the review phase, that's where most of our work is at the moment. And within that, 9 of those tasks are in the review client onboarding request step. The other 2 are in background check. And you can also see that 4 of those 9 in the review step are overdue, which puts us above our threshold for turning this milestone red. And again, all this is configurable by an end user. You don't need anyone to be a programmer of any type to do this stuff, and you don't need to redeploy your application or even get into your designer view to build a view like this. So anyway, just to review here, we have basically reconfigured the entry point for the end users of a BPM platform to allow you to completely configure that interface for the optimal use case and kind of day in the life for the end user. Every user can have their own inbox that's organized their own way. And now your people who are more in management or process owner side can build their own dashboards and instance views on the fly as well. Everything that you build here, if you think it might be useful to someone else on your team, you can actually share that view with other people as well. So there's a lot of reuse possibility here for your team to help you, again, become more efficient as you work through these task lists and these processes.